Welcome to Motherhood Aligned and Assigned, where we help guide mothers from symptoms to solutions.
We're Dr. Serena Coffman and Dr. Veronica Schiltz, nervous system specialists helping families discover the missing link in their wellness journey.
Join us as we translate complex health challenges into simple, actionable solutions for you and your children.
Because your family deserves to thrive,
not just survive. Before you try another ashwagandha supplement, purchase an infrared sauna, or book that $5,000 wellness retreat to Sedona, you need to understand something crucial about your nervous system. And the fact that wellness is trending is super exciting. Yay! But most regulation tools don't go deep enough. So there's parents and patients who are burnt out from doing all of the right things but still feel off. And we really hear this all the time, right? I've tried everything and nothing is getting me to where I want. I have quite a few patients who felt that way, right? Like they have gone through the providers, the supplements, the routines. Like the one patient we're going to talk about today, she actually came in and she was like, I would love to not have to have a perfect day to feel good. You know what I mean? Like she was like, if I don't do one of my things, I feel so bad. And I would love, basically she was saying she wanted adaptability, which is what I told her. But she was saying like, I feel like I have to be perfect or I feel terrible. And so to just put this into perspective, I just want to know if you like relate to any of these things. There's someone who came in and she had been doing all the things. She works in the wellness space, so she's very, very knowledgeable. She's very like, I call her the me of her field. Like she is very like intentional and just goes in depth and does all the trainings and does like, she just like loves what she does. And she kind of like heals as she learns how to heal herself. She goes and takes that to the world, and I feel like we relate in that sense. But she came in feeling terrible. And she's like, what gives? I'm taking all the supplements. I've done the mold detoxes. She was telling me all about her Lyme issues that she was having. She, had about 4 or 5 providers when she came in. She was doing the things, still feeling crappy every single day. And so, between therapy, diet changes, probiotics, sleep training, all of these things, she was like, why can't I get to a place where I feel good? And even when I do feel good, there's just this like thing that's like off. I can't quite figure out what it is. And so we dove into her exam. I always love stories like this because she's like, a little bit, she's like in her 30s, 40s type of age. And so we dove into her birth story. And we found out that she was actually a blue, she said her dad called her a Smurf when she was born. Like she was just blue. Yeah. Very stressed out. Very, very intense labor and delivery. And I always like, I love when I get to talk to adults about this because I'm like, what's your birth story? And like, that's not a weird question because it's like, it was so bad that they know it, right? It's like the ones who maybe don't have a lot, it's like, I don't know, my mom didn't tell me anything. Yeah. But the ones who are like this question applies to, they're like, oh yeah, my mom still to this day, like I'm 40 and she still tells me how hard that was, right? So that she was one of those cases. And so we got to dive into that and I got to explain to her, like, this is a pattern you've been holding since then. But then you went through life learning how to essentially compensate. And that's beautiful because now her brain and body are mostly on the same page, but there were some gaps that we got to fill in and there was some retraining that got to happen. And so now I was just telling Dr. Serena, she wears her Oura Ring and she said she's never been able to get past the teens. So she like averaged between like 14 and 19, I think she said. And for those of you who don't know, I actually didn't know this because I have an Oura Ring too and I had to go look. And the recommended numbers, I think, for someone who's an athlete is like 40 to, no, maybe it was like 20 to 120.
Yeah, the Oura Ring, let me just take a brief side note on the Oura Ring. Because I have a engineering friend who wears hers, and I was like, can we have a coffee date and nerd out about the numbers and metrics on the Oura Ring and how it breaks down information versus my office's HRV. And Oura Ring will say that like there's no ideal number. There's just your ideal number, right? So you compare yourself to yourself. Yep. But it does want you to get into the 20s. But 20 to 100 is a big range. Yeah. And I've had patients come in that they've been in like the 120s. And then I have patients come in who like they're in the teens, right? So there's a big range. And what we concluded is like auras, like they're not doctors, so they can't say this is the ideal number. And the information they gather isn't specific enough for us. Like we have an ideal number, right, with our HRV. And we have like kind of a target range, but it's a smaller range than 20 to 100. And we don't number it in that way like either. Yeah. So
you're charted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like the end all be all,
Yeah,
but
so
the cool thing is that I still think it's cool data because like you said, it's tracking, it's her versus her, right? And so before, I'm not looking to get her, thank you for the side segue, because it's not like I'm like, woohoo, let's get your HRV number higher. I actually didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know an Oura Ring could do that. I've just been using it to track sleep and like cycles and stuff. But it was cool to hear her say, like, I hang out in the 14s and like 19s, but then since starting care, she's now headed toward the 30s. So you can see that even with this like broad range, I'm not looking to get her in a range with her Oura Ring, but her Oura Ring's picking up on her adaptability even, right? Like in its own way that it does. So that was just a really cool, like, objective, you know, there's all kinds of stuff that she's feeling better about when it comes to, but it was a cool to see, like, almost like have her track something before coming to see me and then after her care plan's almost over and seeing how just the big drastic, and she's like, I also feel like incredible, right? Like I finally feel like I found what I've been missing my whole life, but it was also cool to be like, yeah, I'm also like heading in the right direction in my other health goals too.
Yeah. I see Oura Ring scores increase a lot, and then like Oura sleep scores increase a lot. Yeah, I get this too. Like the ashwagandha, love it, don't use it. But like, good for you, but like, why do we have, like, we're just purchasing so many expensive supplements. It's like, okay, I have to take these supplements to fall asleep. I have to take these supplements to feel like I have energy to like get through the day. I also drink coffee. I've also just bought this expensive infrared sauna from Costco. Like, what the heck? You buy these things from Costco now. And it's just like,
I've been looking at that one.
Yeah, I kind of want one, but to like you said, these people are like stacking all of these wellness things to feel that they can like reach a baseline of getting through the day. It's like, I don't want you to do that.
If I could challenge, I know you use the word expensive, and it's not like, we know, hopefully if you're on this podcast, like, your health is worth an investment, right? So it's not like we're saying it's the price range that's the problem. It's the fact that you're paying all this extra money to not get the results you're looking for, right? So we can say, like, your health is an investment. There is an investment that comes with it, but the expensive part is the fact that it's not quite working, right? It's like, you can take all these things and you can do all these things, but if at the end of the day you still feel like you're either wired or just so incredibly exhausted you can't even function, like, is it worth the cost that you're putting into it?
Right. And for me, it's the time. Right? It's a time when it's like, when your functional medicine provider says, okay, I need you to take this one in the morning, I need to take these at lunch and these at dinner. Oh, and this one on an empty stomach. Right? It's like, it's the expense of my bandwidth.
Right.
Of like,
because it's not only time, it's your, like, it's like an extra to-do list.
Yeah. It's like, and then I have to meditate for this long, and then I have to sit in my sauna for this long, and then I need to, like, it's just like, like I said, the stacking. And for me, the stacking is expensive. Time and money. And like, you're just like running in circles, it seems like. And the same thing can be, we've talked about this in another episode of other health modalities, like when you're stacking PT and EMDR and neurofeedback and OT, like, you're doing all of these things. And I ask those parents, like, how are your kids doing in those things? Are you getting anywhere? Or are you plateaued? Right? What if, and this is bold because, like, I'm not trying to take over what all these other providers have suggested for you and saying, don't do that, try this instead. But I am.
We're saying do this first.
Yeah. It's like, can you pause that and then get your nervous system online, the foundation, and then circle back to those and see how incredible you are at them. Or see how little you need them. Right? Then the ashwagandha isn't an every night necessity. It's, oh, maybe I'm really stressed this week and I made bad decisions for my health today, so I'm going to take some ashwagandha for a little extra support. Right. But not because if I skip it, I will just lay there awake.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So all of this that we're suggesting is to shift our focus from trying to regulate and like keep up with our days and just manage to, hey, what if we repaired first, right? So there's repairing the nervous system versus trying to jump to regulating, right? And a lot of us are like, all of the supplements and the saunas are to help with the regulation, but you can't regulate something that needs repaired first. And that's restored. And that's the heart of what we're trying to get at, is we love all of these things, but they're Band-Aids. They're just crunchy Band-Aids.
And I will say, I mean, to like any other provider listening, it's not that we think to someone who does not have the proper foundation, they are Band-Aids, right? To someone who has the correct foundation, they are like enhancements, right? Like it's like we see the benefit in them and we see how they can help. But if you're starting here with your supplements and your saunas and your all that stuff, and the underneath isn't working, like she said, it's a Band-Aid. But if you are, and I guess for those listening, I'm like raising my hands up. But if you're watching, you understand what I just said. But if you're, if you're starting at the top with saunas and things and trying to slap that on top of a nervous system that's crumbling, glitter covered poop is still poop. Like it's so you can't turn that into a good thing. Now, when you restore and repair the foundation and make sure all those things are sealed and running and repaired, then
I'm thinking of like, I've been thinking of new wall art for my office, and now I'm like, oh, maybe I should just maybe I should like smother glitter on a poop emoji.
Right. It's still poop at the end of the day. We talk about poop a lot, actually, so that is pretty on brand.
I might do
that. But anyways, once you have that foundation restored and repaired, now take that foundation into a speech pathology clinic, right? You're going to get so much more out of that. Take that foundation into a sauna. You're actually going to detox, right? Like before, you're just adding more stress to a stressed out nervous system. Now, you have the detox processes up and running. It's going to push things out now when you go to the sauna, right? So it just matters what you do first, because you don't want to do it in the wrong order. And it can actually cause more damage than anything else.
Yeah. So let's explain to them how this works. Because this is like a big jump for a lot of people who are coming from a pain-based concept of chiropractic. And so we're talking about nervous system repair being the foundation of your overall health. And so how that starts is we're fixing the problem of interference at the level of the crazy word here, neurospinal system, right? So we are working with the spine, but we understand that the spine is very closely tied into and related to our nervous system, right? So this is addressing that stored trauma, stress, and subluxation. The subluxation word is our chiropractic word for sticky points in the spine. And this can rewire how the body actually responds to the world, right? So I've explained this a million times in the last 3 days. So we perceive our world, it gets to be too much for our brain. So our fight or flight brain takes over, stores that physical stress in our spine, because it's kind of the closest physical thing to our electrical chemical nervous system. And that happens over years, right? Then we have our body, or sometimes right off the bat, in weeks for your baby,
newborns,
right?
Compounding.
Then our body is then telling our brain that it's stuck and sticky and stressed, and sending threat signals from inside of our body to our brain. And then it's hard to perceive our environment as safe because we have unsafe signals coming from inside, right? So we're unwinding the unsafe signals, telling our brain we're safe, which then our brain can perceive our world as safe. And then everyone lives happily ever after.
The end.
The end.
No, I'm just kidding. And then you can add the supplements if you want that extra,
if it makes sense,
if it makes sense.
But I like to say, like, hey, how much can your body adapt and heal if it's given its full potential to do so? And I've noticed that my patients just light up, because that's exciting. That's kind of like a challenge, right? Like, wait, God designed me intelligently with the ability to adapt and heal. And so I can sleep well on my own. I can digest on my own. I can poop on my own. I can have energy on my own. Like, that's pretty cool. So how much can I do that myself, where my body is the one that's taking over, instead of looking for so much external input to make it through the day?
Well, and it makes it like, we were talking, actually I was on a podcast with one of my patients, and she was saying how like now, every now and then she goes to bed at like 8 o'clock. She's like, I could have never wound down enough to go to bed at 8 o'clock. Like there was something going on. She like used this as an example. She's like, we were actually doing things as a family, and I left that environment because my body needed sleep, and so I went to bed at 8 o'clock. But then the next night she was up until like 10 or 11 working on stuff for an event she had coming up. So she was like, I still have those days. And I was like, actually, that's a perfect example of what happens when you have the choice to do that, right? You had enough energy, or I should say you the foundation was set enough that the need for sleep was greater than your need for connection. You listen to that. And then the next day, your need for, accomplishment was greater than you had the energy to get through that day that was longer. And so it's like, it's not that we're trying to get you to slow down or speed up. It's we're giving you the choice to do both when you need them.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to give like a real time, I just feel like you were talking about like what it looks like to start doing that on your own. But like in real life, that's what it can like play out as, is how important it is to feel like you can go to sleep at 8 o'clock and make that decision for your body, but also to work later and make the decision for your business and know that you have the adaptability to do so.
Adaptability. That's just, the more you know.
I love it.
All right. Sleep is a really good example, Dr. Veronica. That's like the number one sign, soft sign I see come back online when someone's nervous system is starting to get regulated is it's easier to settle. Sleep is just of higher quality, says Oura Ring and the patient. So like, what are some other clinical signs that we would say that your nervous system needs repair before regulation, right? So nervous system, chiropractic focused repair. If you're noticing that a tool, like a supplement or a sauna or all of the other tools we've mentioned before, are working for a couple weeks and then your symptoms return, right? Like this was working for me for a little bit and then it all just came back, right? That was a Band-Aid for a little bit.
And sometimes it comes back worse, right? Because now your body's like, too much.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then we have high reactivity to small triggers. So like
that's what I was going to say, irritability.
Yeah, irritability, short fuse is what I call that. Big setbacks after being sick or traveling or emotional stress, like your whole body. Like I'll have, like this happens with babies. Like they got sick, like right in the middle of the care plan. His brother and sister came home from daycare or something, or the park. The park is our demise, I swear. And we just started, like, it feels like we're back at square one in terms of like fussiness and sleep and digestion, right? And then gut health. Everyone is like, my gut health is just like never stable. So I see a lot of proclaimed IBS, which is like, okay, sometimes I'm really constipated and it takes days for me to go. And then it's just like the pendulum swings the other way. And it's just like a really dysregulated gut, right? Which is really hard to supplement for. So like, which one do I do? And I'm more and more convinced that IBS is way up more on the side of nervous system than leaky gut or those kinds of things, which those can be very nervous system too, right? But it's all in our adaptability to stress. When I see the patterns for these people, like, well, when the pendulum swung, what they were experiencing, those kinds of things. And so your nervous system just needs a chance to like come up for air and breathe and not have all this like Band-Aids on it. And it needs a chance to repair before we try adding all this extra stuff. So Dr. Veronica, can you explain to us how we know what we're seeing in someone's nervous system? Like, do they just come in and we're like, you're on fight or flight, 12 visits, 3 days?
No. I mean, sometimes I can do the first part where I'm like, girl,
yeah,
we got some things we're going to work on.
Yeah.
But no, so we go through your history first, which I always like, I say this a lot, but I'm like, that should be the bare minimum. Fortunately, it's not always. So we truly listen to you. Like, I love that I get to ask questions. I don't think there's ever been a patient that was like, no one's ever asked me that before. Like, I always get that question because we're really doing like an investigative search of your past, right? No one knows your history like you do. And so I want to know as much as I physically can that pertains to it. Or maybe sometimes you maybe doesn't seem like it pertains to it. But like I said, we're going all the way back to birth story sometimes even as adults. And so we do that history. And then I always like to tell people that I kind of make it a game to see how close I can guess what's going on. But that's honestly what most of our profession is doing that, like guessing how close you can get to helping this person out. They're educated guesses, right? Like we have knowledge. We went to school. We're doctors. We have a great knowledge. But at the end of the day, until I have an objective measure, I'm making an educated guess.
I mean, so especially in chiropractic care, right? Like, yeah, like doctors can run blood tests. Functional medicine run more specific blood tests. But they're still like, okay, like let's try to run this lab. Let's try to run this lab. And other like diagnostic imaging and those kinds of things. But for the nervous system specifically, for us folks who like, I couldn't create a good care plan without these scans.
Yeah. Because like I said, I try and make it educated, yes, so I can kind of start to piece the details between how I want to approach things. But then the insight scans are going to give me an objective measurement. And when I say objective, in case someone doesn't know what that means, it literally is saying subjective is like my own opinion. Objective is like you can't argue it. Like that is physically what is showing up for your nervous system on a scan, right? And we don't just do one scan, because I always like to mention that like individually, each of these scans aren't like, you can't reproduce the same things as well with each individual scan. But when 3 different scans come together and give us the same picture, we have a pretty good idea of like the pattern that your system is overall looking for, right? So I'm not looking to be like, I'm going to adjust right here with these scans. I mean, sometimes I am, but like I'm looking to see what the story is that your nervous system is carrying with itself. And I always love telling people about the, like, doing my report of findings, because they're like, wow, I feel like you just described my whole life in, one scan. So that also confirms, we're headed in the right direction. And then we get to adjust you, but we don't just adjust like, your average chiro Joe who's doing the same adjustment every single time. We do very customized care. So I can adjust your nervous system in a variety of different ways, and I'm going to base it off of your symptoms and your scan to tell me if you need like one of those big impulses that traditional people know chiropractic to be, or if you need more of a tonal, soft, neurotonal approach to unwind before I can do anything else to add input into your nervous system. So that's kind of what sets us apart and how we truly repair. Oh, and then lastly, you cannot repair the nervous system and restore the nervous system until you've given it a chance to do that, right? So we need time, and we also need frequency on our side to help you get through it. And so we also create a care plan for you to go through. And that care plan is going to be the best. I mean, you literally heard all that goes into it, right? We take all of those pieces and we put it into a care plan to say, here's how many times you need to come, here's how long you need to come for. And it's really cool because I get to not only repair and restore what happened in the past, but I get to walk with you through life for 3 to sometimes 9 months as you experience new stressors, so I can help your brain adapt to the new stressors that you're going to face, because life is stressful, right? So I get to kind of help your brain repair and restore what happened before. And then I get to help walk with your brain as it walks through new different stressors to create new pathways to get through those things.
Nice. So
that's how you do it.
That's how it's done. So repair makes regulation possible. Mm-hmm. And you don't need more hacks. You need a healed foundation. Mm. So if this sounds like something you're ready for, you can click the link in our bio. You can DM us the word repair in like any of our Instagram posts. We'll catch that. And we'll chat with you. Schedule an insight scan with Dr. Veronica if you're in Iowa, Dr. Me.
Dr. Me.
Me if you're in Boise. Or look up pxdocs.com to find a PX doctor near you. If really specifically like these scans and a specific care plan to repair your system is something you're interested in, PX is the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Can I also add why I love PX so much?
Yeah.
Is you also have to remember, like, we are literally going to a weekend this weekend in Georgia to hang out with our PX docs. Like, we are not doctors who just take that certification once and then we're like, look at us go. Like, we continue to stay up on our education. We learn. This is my second time taking it. This Dr. Serena's first, right? But she's been plugging into the resources for a while now. Like, when you work with a PX doc, you get a doc who truly cares about the ongoing process of learning more and more about their nervous system. And so just keep that in mind. Like, yes, you could get chiropractic anywhere, but a PX doc is truly one that's going to keep up on that education, and so that they can continue to serve you as best as possible.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this continuing education.
Heavenly Father, thank you so much for just the opportunity to repair and restore the nervous system. Thank you for giving people this insight and wisdom, in wisdom on how they can move forward. In this episode, we talked about people who are so very passionate about feeling better, right? Doing these things and taking the supplements and doing the routines. They are dedicated to their health, but they're just feeling stuck. And so we thank you that you are giving us the opportunity to pour into them and make their lifestyle even better as we come in and repair the foundation so that they can excel in all the ways that you know that they are able to do. We love you. We honor you. Praise you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us on Motherhood Aligned and Assigned.
We hope today's episode helped you connect the dots in your family's health journey.
Remember, this is where nervous system health meets motherhood wisdom.
Until next time, we're Dr. Veronica Schiltz
And Dr. Serena Coffman, supporting you as you nurture your family's well-being.
because when you're aligned, everyone thrives.